Hello, good evening, everyone. Um, I'm compelled to make this video in replacement of our last class's video. My apologies. Unfortunately, the last class video did not record. It only recorded the voice, it did not record the screen. And seeing that this is a practical class, it made it almost impossible for us to use that recording. So I am forced to make this video so that we can have something to reference to. All right. So having said that, I will go over everything that was on in the last class, but I will try as much as possible to maximize my time. So when you watch this video, please, if there's anything you don't understand, do well to go over the video again and again. Definitely you will understand. Thanks for your understanding. Okay, so in our last class we did conditional formatting, we did filtering, then we did text formula, if statement. But before then we started with importing data from the web. So I'm going to start from there. So like I told us in the last class, that whenever you want to import data from the web, the first thing you do is go to your web address. Go to your web address. Whatever data it is you are looking for, type it there. I'm looking for, like we did last time, 2015 Nigerian presidential election. The first one that is coming from Wikipedia, you select it. Once you select it, it will bring you to an interface like this where you will see everything about the data you are looking for. Like I said before, this data comprises of several data. So when you have opened it, you are going to see several data, like not one, not two, it might be as many as possible. But all you need to do is, now that you've opened this interface, just copy this link here, highlight the link and click on Ctrl C. Then go back to your Excel. In your Excel, you click on data. Having clicked on data, you select data from the web. You can see here it is written from the web. Click on it. Let's give it time, it's loading. So it brought out this for you to insert the URL that you just copied from that site. You click on Ctrl V to paste your URL, then click on OK. And the next thing that is going to happen is that it's going to bring out all the data that was found in that site. But this time around, they are going to come in different tables. So, and then an option for you to preview the data. So you start clicking on the tables one after the other. Obviously, this is not the data we are looking for. You select the next one. This is not the data. You select the next one. This is exactly the data we are looking for. 2015 Nigerian presidential election by state. That's the data we got by state. So having seen it, you click on load and give it time to upload your data, and here it comes. Luckily, the data came in as a table with your filters on the data. So that makes it very, very easy for you to filter anything that you want to filter. So this is just all about getting your data from the web. Having done this, we go over to our first table. All right. The next thing I want us to look at is sorting, sorting and filtering. Okay, sorry, let's start with conditional formatting. So which table do we use? Let's use item types. Conditional formatting, like I told us in the last class, is a situation whereby you are looking for a particular item in the midst of several other items, and you want to make it look different. You want to make it stand out from the rest of the information contained in the same column, so that once you look at that column, you don't need to stress yourself. The moment you look at the column, by the formatting you have given it, you can say, oh, this is what I'm looking for. You scroll up, you scroll down, you can find it wherever it is in that same column. So you are trying to make the data, the information stand out from among every other, or rather the data stand out from among every other data in that column. So this column is for item types. Let's say we want to see the location of all the beverages in this item type column. What do we do? You click on your home, having selected the column you want to work with, then click on home, and here is your conditional formatting. You click on conditional formatting, select highlight rule cells. The moment you hover on it, it will bring out this option. Then come down to data that is equal to what we want to see, all the beverages. So what do we want it to do? To highlight it with red, light red fill. So you can actually select any other color you want. We can say yellow fill with dark. We can say green fill. You can say red text. Just change all the beverages to red text, however you want it. And having done this, you click on your OK. So looking at this column now, you wouldn't need anybody to tell you where all the beverages are located. As you go up, you come down, you are seeing them. They are simply there staring at you because you've already added your conditional formatting. So this is just how to add your conditional formatting. Then the next thing I want us to look at is filtering. Filtering might look same with conditional formatting, but then the difference between filtering and conditional formatting is that when you format conditionally, it still stays amidst the other data, in the column. For instance, when we formatted this item type column, you can still see that though these beverages is highlighted, nor the character changed to make us rather make it readable more than every other information here. But then other information are still in the same column. So it didn't change anything from the column. The only thing that changed is that you can easily view these beverages without having to strain your eyes to check and all of that. But then in filtering, what you want to do is that I want to remove every other information that is not this information. For instance, you want to say, okay, the only thing we want to see on this column is just beverages. We don't want to see any other thing. The first thing you do is you click on this drop down here. Like I said earlier, this is your filtering. The table already added this filtering for us. Had it been, it did not. But then anytime you convert your data to a table, definitely it adds filter to it. So how do you convert your data to a table? You did that the last time. You Control A to select the data, Control T to turn it to a table. Then it will give you an option asking you whether your table has header. You click OK. My table has header. Immediately the headers will appear and filter will appear beside it. So for you now to filter, you click on this drop down here. That's your filter, and it shows you everything that is on that column. They are all contained here, though not in duplicate form. Each of them is here, not duplicated. So you can now say, I don't want all of this information. The only thing my manager is looking for is beverages. He wants to know how many beverages are contained in this shop. How many of them are in this shop? The first thing you do is you unselect all. Having unselected all, then what are you looking for? You are looking for beverages. You select beverages and then click OK. Immediately, every other information disappears. The only thing that is left here for you are the beverages. You go up, you come down, that's the only thing you see. So how do you know how many beverages that are here? You come down to this left side of your PC, looking at my cursor moving side by side on it, you see ready 782 of 10,000 records found, which means out of 10,000 records on this column, beverages alone is 782 pieces in this shop. Let's say this is a shop because this is sales data. So in this shop, you can find 782 beverages in this shop. That is just how to do your filtering. You can filter any other item, not just beverages. You can say, okay, oh, I don't want beverages. I just want to see only baby foods. You select your baby food, you click OK, and then all the baby foods appear. How many baby foods do we have? 842 of 10,000 records found. So this is just it. What do we do? We clear back our format, and then we select all so that we can clear the format. Okay, this is how to do your filtering. Then the next thing I want to show us in this class is in our last class we did something I called delimiter. What did I say about delimiter? I said delimiter is a situation whereby you have so many information in one column. For instance, you have a column that contains country, it contains the country code, and it apparently contains the states in one column, the country, the states, and the code in one column. And for you to actually do your visualization perfectly well, for you to be able to flex your muscle when visualizing, you need all this information in separate column. What do? You use delimiter to separate the information. Unfortunately, we don't have such column here, but we are going to make use of what we have. So let's assume that this order date column since it contains about three information, looking at it, you know that this is 27th of January 2011, which means it contains the day, it contains the month, and it contains the year. I'm just using this as an example. Like I told you in the last class, you don't bother using delimiter to separate your date. You use text formula to separate your date, which we are still going to do in this class again. But I'm just using this to show you an instance of what delimiter looks like. So when you have selected this, when you have highlighted it, then go over to your data, click on text to column. It now asks you, what do you want to do? It had already selected it, that this information you have here, are you planning to delimit it? You say yes by clicking on next. It's now asking you, how do you want it to be separated? Where do you want it to be separated? Is it with tab? Is it with semicolon? How is the data separated? Is it with tab? Is it with semicolon? Is it with comma? Is it with space? Or is it with order? Like I said that day, if you select order, it means you are going to supply what? For instance, sometimes when something like date like this is written, it can have a slanted stroke, it can have a straight stroke to demarcate the information from the other. It can have either left side slant or right side slant or straight stroke. So whenever you choose order, you have to supply the order. But in this case, we don't have such a thing here. What do we have? All we have here is space. So you select your space. You notice that the moment I clicked on space, it has provided me separation for this data. But then, sorry, we needed to fix something before we get to this point. The first thing you needed to do is insert your column. You select the data that is by the right side of the one you are working with. Select the column that is by the right side of the one you are working with. Once you highlight it, you right click and then select insert. It gives you a column. You can also select this again, right click and insert. We have how many information here? Three: day, month, and year. And to this effect, we are going to remove two from here. When it's delimited, two are going out. So that's why we are adding two columns. Had it been is only two information that is here, we just add one column so that one of the information will move to that next column while the other one remains where it was. So having done this, we go back to this data, select it, click on text to column, click on next, then use our space to separate it, and then click on next, and then it's it has shown us this is what you are going to see in the end. You say yes by clicking on finish. After you have done, it said there is already data here. Do you want to replace it? Say yes by clicking OK. It will now share the data. Sorry, please. Sorry, I don't think I understood what transpired. Oh, okay. It duplicated the date. Maybe that's not the right information we should have used. So by right, the delimited information is not supposed to be a duplicate of what was at the other side. It's supposed to be part of it, moving to the other side of the column. I don't think I really understood what happened, but let's go over it again. Text to column, then next. Yes, it gave us the right information here. So why did it? Okay, I think let's see whether it's because you had multiple choices selected. Click on this and then what else do we need? Let's see whether this is why the information was that way. No, this actually is not giving me what we need. Maybe we will have to use the second data that we imported. Let's see if there's anything that could give us that here. But this data does not also contain what could be used. This data did not contain that. Okay, just give me 1 second. Let me quickly get data because I wouldn't want to give us half information since we already had an issue with our first class. GPL's practical file. But sorry, just 1 minute. Oh, I don't think I want to touch this data. Okay, let's see whether this data works. Okay, so first thing we do, we insert column, insert another one, and then highlight our data, click on data, text to column, click on next. How is it separated? You notice that there is it underscore they call it or whatever. Okay, so we click on order and we insert it. Did you notice what happened? Because this is exactly what it was separated with. Okay, so we click on next. Let's hope that this gives us what we want. And giving us this, is this what we wanted? We click on finish, click on OK. Exactly. This is what we are looking for. So you notice that we had all of these CA 2017 15 to 156, and this seems to be like yeah, other ID. So this is it. The moment we use the limiter, it brought each information, separated them accordingly to different columns. So I hope you understand what I did. Otherwise, let me go over it again. You have selected this after you had added your two columns. You click on data, you click on text to column, then your delimited is selected. You click on next. What is it separated with? You select order because the reason you are selecting other is because none of these is the right information. So you select other in order to supply this. You see this on your keyboard, the next button to your plus and equal sign. That is this key. I think they call it underscore or something like that. I don't really know. So once you have clicked on it, you click next, and then it shows you, is this exactly what you wanted? You say yes by clicking on finish. Whatever question, yes. And this is it. Okay, so this is it for delimiter. Then the next thing that we have to do is our text formula. So I would love to move over to my former data because I don't want to mess with this data here. Okay, so we want to work on other dates. So this should be our other date. It was that delimiter the other time that removed the date for us. So we add back our date. Remember to put our space and hit enter. Okay, so the first thing you do is select the column beside it, right click, insert a column. Having inserted your column, you select this column, double click on it to select for typing. The formula we are using is called text. And I said in our former class that whenever you are using the Excel formula, the first thing you should type is equal sign. That equal sign tells Excel that you are working on the formula so that Excel can actually populate the formula you are looking for. That's how it can actually work out for you. So having typed this equal sign, I type text. The moment before I even finish, you see that Excel has populated this text for me. You double click on it, double tap on the text so that you can select it. Having done that, then the next thing, Excel is now asking you, or rather telling you what to do. Now that you have written text, that the next thing you should do is supply me with the value that you want to work with. And this is the value we want to work with. You click on the value just once, just click on it. Then having done that, you put your comma. This comma tells Excel that I am done with this part. Excel now tells you, or you move over to formatting text. This format text simply means, what do you want me to do with this information that you are giving me? And like I said in our last class, anytime you are typing anything that is not number in Excel, know that you need what is it called? Double quotation to cover it. That's the only way Excel can identify what you are saying. Otherwise, you will be giving wrong information to Excel. So the first thing we do is we click on double quotation. Then what is the formula? We are trying to separate the day first. We are trying to separate this date. Okay, sorry, I needed to do a little explanation before we further. In our last class, I said that whenever you are doing you have a data and you want to analyze with that data, your date will always come in this format: the day, the month, and the year coming together in a number form. But for you to do analysis, you cannot work with this. You cannot work with this in this number form because, for instance, this 27 now, you cannot tell whether it is on Monday or on Tuesday or Wednesday. So this information is really not accurate for what we would want. So but what we are doing now is to convert this 27, 28, 13, 11 clinical to their days of the week so that you can know whether this is on Monday. So when you now analyze, you will know, oh, what happened on this particular 27th. It was on Monday, it was on Sunday, or whatever it is. Oh, market is usually good on Mondays, is usually bad on Mondays, and all of that. So anytime you have a date in analyzing data, do well to separate your date with this text formula. Get your date in this thing, days of the week, your month in the month name, yes, then separate your year with the same text formula. So we move, the first thing you type your equal sign, then your text, you double click on your text and then select the value, you put your comma to show Excel that you are moving over to the next, and the next is what? Format text. And I said when you are typing anything that is not number in Excel, what do? Cover it with double quotation mark. That is telling Excel that that is the only way Excel can actually acknowledge the information you are supplying. So we have here double quotation. I said the formula for text in Excel is DDDD. The formula for days, sorry, for converting numbers to days of the week is DDDD. Then you click on double quotation again. Then observe that there was an open bracket here. One bracket was opened here. What do? You close the bracket that was opened and you hit enter. The moment you do that, you notice that it has converted this. This 27 now is on Friday. This 28 is on Saturday. This 13th is on Friday. Could you see? 27th Friday, 13th Friday. How would we have been able to decipher that from the data if we hadn't done this? Okay, so this, you now remember to rename your column. This column becomes order day. Order day. You hit enter. Then you still insert another column. Remember, always insert next to the column you are working with, otherwise it will not work. You double click to select, you type your equal sign, you want to separate the months now. With the same text formula, you type your text, double click on the text, then select your value, put your equal sign, your double quotation, and what is the formula for month? MMMM is something you can always easily remember. You put your double quotation to close and then close your single bracket and hit enter, and you see this has told you 01 is January. You can see that yourself and all of that. So as you go down, you see that each of the month is being represented. Okay, so everything actually happened in January from the data we have. I don't know how possible that is, but then that is the order date, the order month that they gave to us. So we don't have to dispute it. What do? You put your name, order month, order month, and hit enter. Then insert another column for your year. You double click to select equal sign text. I'm sure by now you'll be doing it with me because it should have already entered by now. Then select what the value you want to work with. Put your comma, then your double quotation. And what's the formula for year? Y. That is 4y. You close your double stroke and then put your close your bracket and hit enter. Then you have separated the year. So everything now is on their own. So like I said in our last class, usually after you have separated this, you are supposed to delete this mother column where you got it from. But then there is something that usually always happens. For instance, if I delete this mother column, you notice that everything we have labeled to work on has scattered. Do you know why? Because they were all dependent on the mother column that we just removed. So for you to remove that mother column, the first thing you should have done is to paste this information special. We call it paste special. So but then I said in our last class I won't be treating it until our next class. It will be part of our next class. So what do? I do Control Z to return what I removed so that we don't have our data disorganized. Having done this, The last thing I will be doing to this regard is what I call if um, formula. The if formula. Okay, that's what it's called. Let me see. If statement. Yes. Okay, so I don't know which field to use, but then let me, okay, maybe I should come back to this vegetable field. Let what is it called? Item type field. What I explained the other time concerning this if statement is that we use it to, for instance, when you have a data that says um a kind of ranking, yes, that has a kind of ranking. So they want to say if this thing is fair, give it 1. If it is good, give it 2. If it is better, give it 3. If it's best, give it 4. And if it's excellent, give it 5. So the information you have already says fair, good, better, best, and then what is it called? Excellent. So you are now supposed to convert it to number, or you were given numbers to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you are supposed to convert those numbers to fair, good, better, best, and what is it called? Excellent. These things are necessary because if you want to visualize, you cannot be able to visualize with those numbers. So you really need to convert it to those information, fair, good, better, best, excellent, and all of that for you to be able to make proper this thing visualization. So, but in absence of such information on this data, I want to be using this data here. So we have office supply, we have beverages, we have vegetables, and we have household. So let's say if this thing is office supply, give it 1. If it is beverages, give it 2. If it is vegetables, give it 3. If it is household, give it 4. We may or may not get to that 4, but let's start. Then value if false. If it's none of them, return 0. You see that this formula is usually very, very confusing. Sometimes it's either comma or space or whatever might keep you to a very long time on it, but nonetheless, let's see what we can do. I would advise that you pay very close attention to it if indeed you really want to get it. So like we said earlier, the first thing we type our equal sign to tell Excel we are working with a formula. Then you type if. Excel had already given you the formula. If Excel now asks you what is the logical text, if this office supply, if this information, if this data here is equal to, like I said, anytime you are typing words, text in Excel, use double quotation. So if this information here is office supply, sorry, supplies, we must write it exactly the way it is, otherwise it won't answer us. Is office supplies, comma, then push your enter, that is you shift your button and tell it to make it 1, then comma, you give the second command. Excel is already asking you value if false, but we have not gotten to value if false because we have about 3 or 4 commands to give. So we say the second command if, remember to select your if this same value here, okay, if this same value here is equal to beverages, right? Don't forget your double quotation. Of course, I've already forgotten mine. So always have it in your mind. You must have double quotation before Excel will recognize it. Comma, push your space button, give it what? 2 if it's beverages. Then comma, if, select your if, is still the same thing but with different information. If this same information here equals vegetable, is equal to, hope I put equal to in the first one, yeah, is equal to double quotation vegetable, is there s, yeah, vegetables, your double quotation comma, give it 3 comma, the last command, if, we double click this same data here equals, what are we looking for, the last one, household. If it equals household, close in double quotation comma, shift your button, give it 4 comma. Then what if it does not equal any of these 4? Give it 0. That is value if false. If it's not any of these 0 or of these 4, give it 0. Then the next thing you do, you check how many brackets that were opened. Count all these black, red brackets that you are seeing. It's the normal parenthesis, so it's not the square bracket, it's this normal one. So we have 1, we have 2, right? We have 3, and we have 4. Of course, we have 4 commands, so we should have 4 brackets opened. So you close 1, 2, 3, 4. Close your 4 brackets, and at this juncture, we hit enter. Did you see? Let's see what we got. If it equals, if maybe there was an error in my typing of beverage, that must have been the reason. You see, there was an error in my typing of beverage. Let's assume I come here and add E to this beverage and hit enter. You see that it has changed. So if it equals office supplies, give it 1. If it equals beverage, give it 2. If it equals vegetables, give it 3. And if it equals household, give it 4. And that's exactly what we have here. So this is a very wonderful formula if you understand it. I think at this juncture I have come to the end of this video. Please do well to watch this video, possibly this night stroke tomorrow morning, so that we can be able to do our class by tomorrow. Thank you so very much for your time and your understanding. I really appreciate. Thank you. God bless you.